Welcome to the Four Rooms podcast, where we explore the four rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Four Rooms podcast. I'm your host, Brett Kaufman. I'm joined by a guest I am very excited about, Mr. Brad Hart. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brad. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
So this is one of your, I think this is your first event being an expert and first event period with
I have
us?
never been to Four Rooms before. I've known Amber for many years from the Mimosa days.
Yeah.
We have a shared mentor in Lee Richter. Thank you, Lee, for putting us together. And we're talking here, right? Lee basically nudged Amber to join my mastermind. It's called Optimus, where we're basically building the future. We're using AI and automation to fix common business problems, to rethink the way business is done, how to help our clients win more, and basically giving small and medium-sized businesses godlike superpowers. Like stuff they could never even dream of before is now possible. So I'll just ground it with a quick example. So like Four Rooms is driven by Amber and the team, Bianca and all of them that are just amazing, caring, wonderful people. And they want to curate this experience to the highest level, which I love, right? And they make you answer this 56-page or 56 questionnaire, page questionnaire or questionnaire in a form, right? And it takes like an hour.
It does.
And like they were reminding people 4, 5, 6 times, and they just like half of them weren't filling it out, which sucks because then you get half the people get a great curated experience, and then everybody else kind of gets thrown in with the woodpile. And it's okay, but it's not as good as it could be. It's not allowing Amber and her team to use their talents as the best they want. So we were like, all right, well, what if we could create a world where they choose their own adventure? So instead of, you've got to do this as the business, and this is the tool we've got, how about let's give you an option? You can fill out the form. You could talk to us on the phone. We'll transcribe it and get what we need. Yeah. Or you can talk to Frankie, our AI conversational agent that can actually walk you through the form process. And we help them to deploy that. And I'm grateful to say everybody who's used it so far has been really impressed. So it's like having a conversation. You could be walking the dog. You could be making lunches for the kids, and you got your homework done. And now the team can serve you at the highest level and give you the best experience.
And because it's such a balance, because our secret sauce is the customization. And like you said, but it takes a while to do. This is the first time we employed Frankie. So this is like a huge moment for us. And how do we keep what we're so good at, but making it easier for everyone so we have a higher completion rate and be able to serve people?
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's like, if you want to keep raising the bar, you got to keep reinventing the way the business happens from a couple of first principles. So the first principle is like, a business is a machine that exchanges money for value for a customer or client. And the more efficient that machine is, the better the customer served, the more raving fans you get, the more referrals you get, the more profit you get, the more market share you get, like everything gets better. So like the more efficient you get from the customer's perspective in getting the result, the better it is. Yeah. And the old ways of doing business are dying or dead. I think we have 3 to 5 years on most agencies and SaaS models where it's going to be like gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Agencies. Okay, well, for those who are listening, like define how you're defining an agency
so
in SaaS
an
right now.
agency is like, I want Facebook ads to run for my company. I don't want to figure that out myself. I'm going to hire XYZ agency. They're going to come in. They're going to give me 15 pages of homework, and I'm going to have to teach them my entire business from the offer to how to sell it to what kind of leads they are and the demographic. And they're going to collect all this data painfully from me to not get the result for 6 months and burn through my money. Yeah. In a lot of cases, most agencies fail. And does that make me wrong, or does that make the model wrong? I don't want to blame the people. They're working hard. They're trying, most of them, right? It's like, how can we make that easier? Same thing with SaaS. It's like, you ever watch that South Park episode with the underpants gnomes?
Yeah.
Step 1, we collect underpants. Step 3, profit. What's step 2? Well, step 1 is we collect underpants, and step 3 is profit. But nobody knows what step 2 is. That's kind of like what SaaS is about, right? It's like, hey, you want a result. We're going to give you a software. Go learn, or have your team learn, and then through a bunch of blood, sweat, and tears, maybe you get the result. And by the way, you're paying every month and getting more frustrated and more frustrated and more frustrated. And you're hoping they're going to develop it in such a way that you can get the result. And it's painful for the people who build the software because that's hard. And it's painful for the people who buy the software because it's hard. And there's a lot of friction. But these companies are still like the most sexy companies everybody wants to build, even though there's a better way to do it now, which is the new way. I call it results as a service, or RAS, as opposed to SaaS. So let's use a real example just to kind of paint a picture here. So what does every business need more of?
Sales.
Yeah, but I would say if you polled a business owner symposium right now, like 100 business owners, they'd probably mostly say leads.
Okay.
That's what they believe they need. And I agree. Like, they need sales, they need a great offer, they need great operations. Like, all of it makes sense. But the thing they're going to raise their hand most often is leads. What's the best way to get leads right now?
Running ads,
Sure.
word of mouth, organic.
On what kind of platforms?
Meta?
Yeah, so social media platforms.
Yeah.
The biggest opportunity that's ever existed for business owners are social media platforms, especially small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure we could all name 10 things that suck about social media. It's a time
Sure.
suck. There's doom scrolling. There's comparison. There's getting sucked into different things. You're getting retargeted. Your compensatory joy is going away because you're like comparing everybody to you. And it's like, it's a hassle. And that's even if you have all your friends on there. When it's totally public, now you're talking about trolls and you're talking about doxing. You're talking about all the crazy stuff that happens in social media. So on the other hand, the biggest opportunity ever. It's like a slot machine with free pulls that occasionally pays out hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can pull it as many times as you want, but it's very costly and painful to do so. So most people don't. And most of the social media coaches or the influencers will just say, well, you just got to be consistent. You just got to be consistent. You just got to be consistent. Friction, 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 pain, pain, pain. Stop being a human. It's like, no. What if we could deliver the result instead? What if instead of that, we could just give you the result? Well, here's the other option. If you're a Hormozy or a Dan Martell or somebody who has a massive social media following, or Tom Billy, name somebody who's just omnipresent across social media. Well, you can go hire a great team to help you with that.
Yeah.
And you're essentially a new media company, right? You're going to have people following you around with cameras and all this great stuff. But that's going to cost you $50,000, $100,000 a month to get that kind of result. And it's probably worth it. They do it. They're obviously spending the money. They're not dumb. But there's no middle area. It's either you don't do it, or you do it and it sucks, or you pay a lot of money to get it done. So what if instead I could go into your Facebook account, and I'll just say mine, for example. I've been using it since sophomore year of college. I'm about the same age as Mark Zuckerberg. So when he was at Harvard building it, I was at Binghamton University, the public Ivy.
There you go.
Rowing on the river and posting on Facebook, and I downloaded everything that Facebook had that I had ever posted in text format. That was 8,110 posts.
How'd you do that?
So anybody can do that. They keep all your stuff, and this is true of every social media. And you just find the place in your settings where you can go and grab all those posts. And you can download it as what's called a JSON file, and then you can manipulate it with AI.
Well, it's that simple, just going into your settings.
It'll take a while because it's a lot of gigs, but you can go in your settings and grab that at any time.
No way.
So I'm able to go in your Facebook account. You give me your login, I go in your Facebook account, I grab all that stuff, I put it in a spreadsheet, and then I can train AI to sort out anything that's not evergreen.
Yeah.
Anything that would be considered not on brand, and then train with the rest of the data a model that writes like you.
Yeah.
Without all the dumb stuff that AI normally does, like emojis and game changer and all this, kind of tropes that AI does. And I can have you through a workflow, which I could share a photo of, or we can superimpose later if you have an editor, run it through a bunch of AI scripts that, parse and sort and report and review and edit and score and produce content with then human review and posting, so we don't blow up the algorithm or get your shadow banned or anything like that. A result, which is you're omnipresent on any social media and every social media you want to be on that's relevant to you every single day. We can do comment moderation, we can do ads, we can do all that for a very nominal fee, like 1/20th of what the Hormozys are paying. So now I'm able to deliver a result as a service where you give me your data and some money, I get you a result, and if you like the result, you keep paying. If not, good luck. There's the old ways, right?
Let's say the person's rebranding themselves, so their old content may not be as applicable.
We can filter and sort for that, right? So once we know the products, we know the service, and we can look at other things too. We can look at their emails, we can look at their sales scripts, we can look at their offer pages, we can look at all that. We can then create essentially them as an avatar. And it's not just text, long form and short form. We can create their voice, we can create their video. I mean, I've made videos that people can't tell that it's AI.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's like deepfakes, and it's only going to get better. So
yeah,
we keep making it better, faster, cheaper. And the way we build it, we can hot swap in the cool new thing, whatever that is. So if we like this software better than that software and it's got an API, we can hot swap it in. And on the very next run, it's that much better.
Yeah.
We can keep training it. So that's an example of what I believe is the new model, which is results as a service. So not software, not agencies. let's give you a result.
So for an agency that's listening, because people that come here, right, agencies as well, how can they stay alive and thrive?
Yeah, so learning these tools is going to be paramount, but also throwing away the old limited model. Because when you built that agency, that was the only way you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Up until a year ago, that's the only way you could do it. When you built your SaaS company, it's the only way you could do it. So you have two choices. It's either sell now, get the hell out, or change the game and the paradigm of I'm going to get out of the way and get my customers out of the way of getting the result. And I'm going to take a lot of brain damage off the table by doing it. Because if you can figure that out right now, you're going to be a billionaire, maybe a trillionaire in the next 5 to 10 years.
This is the window.
This is the window.
Because in about 5 to 10, average companies are going to pick up on it, and then you're going to miss.
And it's going to get easier, not harder.
So you become the expert that you can now. Spend the time.
Like right now, the tools are such that, well, it used to be you had to code everything custom.
Yeah.
Now there's like low code, no code, and that's kind of where we're at. And then eventually it'll be zero code or code with words. So anybody who can speak the English language relatively coherently and think logically can build an app. That's coming very quick.
Yeah.
So you have AI that's powered by humans right now, and then eventually we'll have AI that's autonomous and its own economic actor and trains itself, and eventually general AI and robotics, which will be doing things in the physical world. When I first started hearing about AI,
which was when for timeline?
Early 2000s, there's a lot of theoretics around it, and it was kind of on the radar.
Okay.
I only started to really see instantiations that I had access to within the last 5-10 years,
Okay.
Mostly at the company level. Like bigger enterprises are starting to use AI, but AI is all around us. It's been around since the 70s.
Right.
It's not really like a new thing. It's just new in the sense that now we have ChatGPT on our phone, which is like talking to God. They're crazy, right? It knows everything,
insane.
Can train you on everything. I mean, I've solved so many problems big and small in my life, like walking my dog, having she's a little dog reactive, and this one neighbor would just tie their husky to the front of their house, like attach the leash to the doorknob and let it run around their front yard. And it's like just not a good look, right? So instead of getting in a fight with my neighbor, I was like, hey, ChatGPT, this is what's going on. I'm upset about it. What would you do about this? And it said, oh, well, why don't we write him a nice letter and ask him to stop? So I said, that's great. Draft a letter. And I was like, well, I live in Phoenix. What if they don't speak English? Right? A lot of my neighbors speak Spanish.
Sure.
So I was like, all right, let's translate in Spanish. I was able to do that in 2 minutes.
That's
and then
amazing.
print it out on a piece of paper and stick it in their mailbox. No more dog problem. Solved.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
like you can fix problems big and small. I wanted to get smart about the tax stuff and like what Doge is doing and all that.
Yeah.
And I was able in a few hours like write my own white paper on tax and understand like all the budgets, all the major things. Like, oh, if we cut this and add this, like this country makes so much money that we could afford universal basic income for people making less than 50K. We could streamline the entire health system, provide universal health care with real numbers, like based on European models. We could have universal K through 12 education and still have a budget surplus, not even touching the big budgets like the defense budget. Just stop wasting money on dumb stuff like Medicare. Like there's so much money. Money's not the constraint. Money's made up anyway. It's like it's the willingness and belief to change your mind about something, because we all have confirmation bias. We all have this bias of like, this is the way it's always been done, therefore it's the way it needs to continue to be done. But no, that's all up in the air right now. Yeah. It's all the pieces are being scattered. All the Lego blocks are on the table. It's like, what are you going to build next? And until you step in leadership and say, let me make something different, you can't take your unique wisdom, your unique experience, your unique skill set, the fact that you care about solving that problem more than anybody else, and make it real. Now all the tools are there. You can make it happen. You just can't convince yourself that there's not a way, and I'm here to help. So when AI started coming out, everybody's talking about it like, the next billionaire or trillionaire is going to be some kid in their basement, some dude in a dark room, like making the next thing by himself with no employees. And I'm like, that sounds lonely, boring, and shitty. That sounds awful. I don't want to be that guy. But what would be really cool is if I could do it with all my friends. Yeah. What if I could help them all become financially and time sovereign, so we can have like a really cool time together building great apps and cool new, systems and ways to play together. I don't want to compete to win. I'd rather collaborate to dominate. Right. Because we're not at war with each other. Like I'm in the education industry. Do you know that $6 trillion a year is spent on education between K-12 and university? And there's hundreds of billions of dollars sitting dead in endowments for 400-year-old universities that is just never going to see the light of day. It's just going to keep rolling over, and kids are going to get in debt, and they're just going to keep getting a piece of paper. I was never more heartbroken than when I was in a marketing class one time and I asked the professor where he'd learned marketing. He said he'd never done a marketing job. And I wanted to die. I wanted to throw all of that money and all that time out the window. And college is fun, but it's not the way to get educated. No. So I was like, well, why don't we just look at it this way? The alternative education industry, of that $6 trillion, all the masterminds, all the courses, all the events, all the personal development stuff, the Tony Robbins of the world, that's like $350 billion. That's $1 billion a day. It's still huge, but it's 5% of the total.
Yeah.
350 billion versus 6 trillion. So we're not at war with each other. We're not competing against each other. We're competing against the status quo. And the more people we can activate to understand that A, they can get results that matter and be paid for them handsomely, and B, they can do it for more and more people that aren't even activated yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the average workaday world that people are just trying to survive and get through. They're not even in the game yet.
Yeah.
We can get them in the game.
Yeah.
We can give them godlike powers and superpowers that they can go out and build a better world. So like, I mean, it's all open for you. You can go on Palantir's website. They're one of the leading AI companies, publicly traded, and they make enterprise AI apps. And you can go watch a bunch of demos and videos that are made for these companies. And then you could say, well, how could I just do that with low code or no code with a little bit of help, or, you know, join a group like Optimus and jump in there and start building this stuff for SMBs, which is a massive opportunity.
Huge.
And start educating other people about it, because we need to spread this as fast as we can.
Yeah.
So the reason I go to all these masterminds is where all the wizards are at. These are all the wizards that went to Hogwarts and they're doing wizard shit.
Yeah.
And most of the world is muggles. They never heard of wizard school. They would never have the courage to run headlong at, you know, the wall in Station 9 3/4, if you've ever watched the movie, to try to get to Hogwarts. They don't even know it exists.
Yeah.
But we can show them. We'll send them an owl.
This is the owl.
This metaphor.
If you're watching, this is the owl.
Yeah, this metaphor might be getting a little bit thin, but.
If you're looking to get even more from the Four Rooms podcast, you don't want to miss our exclusive newsletter. This is your personal invitation to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who are all about balancing health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each week, we're going to bring you additional insights, tips, early announcements, and other information that we just can't fit into this podcast episode. Plus, it's a great way to keep the conversation going and ensure you never miss a beat in your entrepreneurial journey. It's easy to subscribe. Just visit fourroomsmastermind.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and enter your email. That's fourroomsmastermind.com, and just enter your email. We promise to keep things light, keep your inbox interesting, informative, and fun. Join the Four Rooms community today, and let's grow together.
Well, it's perfect because I'm having a Harry Potter 31st birthday party.
Oh, awesome.
So you're right on time.
I'm a
with this.
Ravenclaw. I don't know if you could tell.
That
My
makes
wife
sense.
thought I was a Slytherin. She actually cried when I tested Ravenclaw. It was a big moment for us. We're a Ravenclaw family.
She's Ravenclaw as well.
Yeah.
I'm Slytherin. I didn't want to be, then I embraced it. I was like, you know what? I can't fight it. It just is what it is.
Can't have Harry Potter without Severus Snape, right?
That is true. Our community, our audience is made up of brand owners, e-com, service, info, affiliates. We talked about on the more agency side, right? So the service side, what they can be doing. I want to talk to, well, why don't you actually do it for, like, dissect it for us, right? As an example, the big thing that really appealed with what you were saying was the rapid content creation, right? Amber and I don't need to sit here and just like go on camera. We can just make ourselves and do that. What are some other ways we should be thinking on how we can
Great
apply
question.
AI?
Awesome question. I'm so glad you asked. So some of you don't know this. I've spent over $1 million in masterminds the last 14 years. I've been joining since 2011. I've been a part of over 100.
Yeah, you are.
I've launched hundreds directly and thousands indirectly. I've written 2 books on the subject. I love masterminds. They're my favorite place to meet people. So I've learned a few things about masterminds over the years. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've seen what works and what doesn't. Amber does a great job. Let's start there. But why do people join masterminds in the first place? We have to go back to first principles. They join because they want to curate a community that delivers results, relationships, and recreation. And we've all been part of masterminds, or at least most of you, I would say, have been a part of a mastermind where you go in and it's like the room is full of autistically competitive marketer bros that never learned to share in kindergarten, and you definitely don't want to have a beer with. You kind of want to take a shower after. But they're getting results. Good for them, right? For as long as that works. Or you go into the room, it's like, hey, I kind of really like these people, but we're not getting anything done. And if I have to have another conversation about a cold plunge, I'm going to jump out that window over there. So, or we're just not having any fun. So like the best masterminds I've ever found are hitting those 3 marks. And we can continue to improve and iterate each one of those things. So instead of, let's say in the results quadrant or triad or whatever we're talking about here, the 3 R's, in results world, well, the old results was I go into X Mastermind and Roland Fraser, somebody really smart's up at the front of the room and they're talking about, hey, I did this with my team and we got this result and we made all this money and everybody's ooh and ah and value. And it is valuable. It's valuable to get wisdom and shared experience and results, and that's great. But it's, remember the story about the marketing professor that didn't do marketing? It's kind of like a little bit of the same way. It's like the professor has no clue. It's like, hey, Roland, how do I get that result in my business? How do I implement that? And am I as smart and talented as you, or I'm going to be able to get the same result? The likelihood is very low, you know, and nothing is Roland. He's a friend, so I'm just moving on for a second. But it's true across all masterminds. That's what people think they're getting. Well, what if instead I go to the front of the room and say, hey, here's the system we built. Here's the result we're getting. Here's how we're changing the model. Here's how we rethought about it. Here's how we approached the problem from first principles and rebuilt it, which is what Elon Musk and all these other game changers do. It's the same principles. And here's the outcome we're getting and the results we're getting. And oh, by the way, check your Go High Level account. Check your ClickFunnels account. We just plugged it in for you. Yeah. And you just tweak the last few knobs to customize it and you got the result too. Yeah. That's how you iterate. That's how you improve. That's how you deliver results as a service. Yeah. On the relationship front, we're building tools like I'm in Flight Club. I'm a top referrer and Captain Connection, reigning Captain Connection. Love that. Shout out to Glenn and the team over there. Flight Club is awesome. It's one of my favorite masterminds. My wife and I, Jasmine, have been in it for 4 years. And it's a problem because you go in there and it's a little overwhelming. If you're not an extrovert or know people like me, you don't know who to meet and why. And nobody has a sign on their forehead saying, you know, this is exactly why you should meet this person and why and all that stuff. But we can make that. Yeah. We can make something like that. You know, I always pictured like the cool AI glasses with like the heads up display that tells you everything you need to know, or at least reminds you of their names so you don't forget. You know, occasionally I forget. But the new Hizzy, if you will, the new way is we took all their membership data and we put it into a bot. And I coded this in 20 minutes over lunch. I just had a little bit of a fun time with it. And I just built a very basic prompt and I put all the data in. I said, if I give you a name, give me 3 people I should meet, why, how to contact them, who knows them already, and give me some verbatim reasons to like show your work and test your knowledge and like convince me. Yeah. So now, and again, I wish I could show this. Like the thing about AI is you can't tell people, you have to really show people. Yeah. But like I would put in that prompt, say, hey, who should Eric Berman meet at Flight Club? Right. And then it would go and query the database, say, hey, Eric Berman should meet Glenn, and Eric Berman should meet this one, and Brad, and this one. And here's why, and here's how to contact them and all that stuff. Now,
May I ask a question? Please. What kind of data do you need to collect to then feed into the AI first? Like what kind of questions?
All those intake forms we talked about, that choose your own adventure, all that's cannon fodder for AI.
So do you think we have enough of that data already?
100%. You have more than enough.
Let's go.
So I could build that for you in probably a couple hours. The only bottleneck is going to be how fast can you put it all in one place. Okay. I don't care what the format is. I can play with all that. But if you can get it to me, I can build it for you. And we can just make it better over time, right? Because now we're building it with an outcome in mind and not just it's going to stick in a Google Drive and stay there. So now, okay, that's phase 1 of what I'm calling the Nitro Network software. Yeah. That's that mastermind. Now, can we use that? You have one here, Flight Club has one, Genius Network has one, 100M has one, Zenith has one. What if we want to collaborate and share that data across networks? So now I can have this bot talk to that bot and say, oh, you should have these connections back and forth. And then the gatekeeper, the Amber or the Glenn or whoever, Tony Robbins can say, oh yeah, that's a good idea. It can still have a layer of human review. Yeah. They can still choose to do it, or they can make it open source where anybody can do it. And now we can compare back and forth. It goes deeper than that. You know 10,000 people, I know 10,000 people. If we had a call, we could probably identify 2 or 3 people that each other should meet. Yeah. And it'd probably be pretty good. But we probably forget 90% of the people that we could introduce or we're not up to speed with right now on what they're up to. That would be a really great fit. That we've already built relationships. We've already done the work. It's like right there. It's like $1 billion of gold under the floorboards. We just can't dig it up. What if I could create a social media crawler that kept that database current based on their social media posts that then fed back and updated what they're up to now, so that the AI could be like, oh, you haven't talked to Joe in a while, but he's doing this cool new thing, and Brett really needs to talk to him. Wow. And he's, oh yeah, and you could go and confirm it and make sure it's a good idea, and then you make that introduction. Always double opt-in. That's my one rule. I hate when people just land in my inbox without preamble. So that's another example of how we can iterate on relationships and use technology to connect people. And I'll just share a quick aside if we have time. I don't know how long we have for this, but When well, all right, I'll skip the anecdote. You'll have to reach out to me and ask because we only have a few minutes left. But long story short, the most valuable relationships are in masterminds. The most curated relationships are in masterminds. The most personal development driven, kind, collaborative, family of choice relationships you'll ever meet in your life are in masterminds. Yeah. And I've got hard and soft data to prove that over many, many years. So the more we can do that, the better it'll be. And then finally, if you're having more fun with the people you love, that's a win all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said this at the start of the show. Like, I was so excited when I saw that I was doing a podcast with you because truly, like, your reputation in the community, like your stamp on Masterminds is so important. You've been to a lot of it. Can you just, like, for people that have not stepped into a 4 rooms room before, can you kind of share what this experience is like?
Yeah. So it's all about the people. Let's start there. And when you have not been in a room like this, it's impossible for me to tell you what it's like. Mm-hmm. You don't meet these kind of people at bars. You don't meet them at dating apps. You don't meet them at school. They're not happen chance, stumble across type of friends. They are carefully curated, amazing, heart-centered leader people that are building businesses and growing as individuals and contributing at the highest level and collaborating to do it. So when you step in a room like 4 rooms especially, it's like Amber has been spending 15 years of her life, 20 years of her life doing nothing but working on herself and meeting great people and connecting them. First for affiliate and referrals, and then eventually to build Mimosa and now this. And every time she's iterated, it's got better and better and better. Yeah. So you're getting the best of like 15, 20 years of all of that and her team and all this love and all this intention. I mean, like, you go in the bathrooms here and they have toothbrushes and mouthwash and shaving and like poopery in the stalls. Like every little touch, every little thing you could have ever thought of, like, they're going to serve you at the highest level.
Just wait till you see the mansion.
But that's not the point. The point is to get all that little minor detail stuff out of the way, put you in the best state possible to connect most deeply with the people who are going to change your life. Because the people that you meet here might become your wife. My wife, she joined my mastermind and I fired her. #integrity. So she became my client. Like, you create a community of people that share your values, and then they show up. Imagine that. And then you get to do life with them. And even if you're married or not looking for a partner, you're going to meet people you can do business with. You're going to meet people that you're going to do life with and best friends. Like, people I haven't seen in years, I see at masterminds because it gives us an excuse to come hang out. Right. It gives us a reason to come hang out. I'm hanging out with Alex Moscow yesterday playing pickleball. I've known him for 10 years, and now we're doing more business together. It's just a reason to collide and catalyze with amazing people. So Amber and Brett and Omar and team and just everybody here at 4 Rooms, thank you for doing it at the highest level and setting the bar for that. And I can't wait to help supercharge you with godlike AI powers. It's going to be great.
I am so excited. When I found out that we're a part of your group too, I was like, let's go. Just this collaboration so long overdue.
Agreed.
And it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all in the right time, all in the right season. And the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now.
So we do something called 1 hot minute. It's my favorite thing to do.
Ooh, hot.
1 hot minute. So here's how it works. We're going to put 6 seconds on the clock. And I want you to think about whether it was a piece of advice or it was a principle or just something that when shit hits the fan, that you rely on this wisdom that gets you through it. Is that clear what I'm asking?
Yeah. So I have I'm a Reformed Catholic, if you will. I went to Catholic school. Great way to not be a Catholic as an adult, go to Catholic school. And nothing against Catholicism. It's like Windows 95. It's just an old operating system. Now we have iPhones. We're not going to use it, right? But I have a relationship with God. And what I believe is that we have desires and we have goals and we have things that we want to become. And then God gives us the challenges that allow us to step in and learn and grow into the person who can have those things. Yeah. Because when you are the person who can have those things, you attract them effortlessly. But if you say, hey, I have a desire and I want a thing, and then you get the challenge and you shy away from it, or you say, no, I don't want that, or you don't want to grow into it, you don't want to lean into it, you don't want to learn the lessons. Well, you don't grow and you don't become the person who can have the thing. So it's like God's giving you what you want when you get the challenge. Yeah. You just got to lean in. So that's the belief that keeps me going.
Hell yeah.
It's like, I want to be a billionaire, trillionaire, have a ton, not because I need more money, because I want to have more impact. Yeah. I want to solve more problems with more great people. That's what I am here to do. And whatever challenges God sends my way to grow into the person, I don't need pain. Thank you, God. Just give me the challenge. I'll grow into it. Yeah. I'm happy to do it.
All right, I love that. Lean into your challenges.
That's it.
And the last question: where can people follow you so they can learn more about your work?
Yeah, so I'm at Brad Hart on Facebook. Facebook.com/Brad Hart is where I publish most often. We are at optimusmastermind.com. We are at makemoremarbles.com. And if you want to learn more about building masterminds, I have a book called The 8-Minute Mastermind. It's 8minutemastermind.com, spelled either way.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Brett.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our 4 Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event and, of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.